We're in the Howard County Police Headquarters in Ellicott City. My name is Sergeant Terry Schlossnagel. Also present is Detective Steve Grise. Can you identify yourself, please?
I'm Charles William Davis Jr.
Okay, picture this. You're chilling at your grandma's place, deep in the basement. It smells like mothballs, old newspaper, and maybe regret? You're digging through dusty boxes full of stuff that should have been tossed like 3 presidents ago. Then you see it, a crusty old cassette tape. The label? Faded Sharpie scribble, Interview, 1976. Now, what would any sane person do? You grab the nearest Walkman, somehow still works, miracle, pop it in, and hit play. You're expecting, I don't know, some old man rambling about lawn care or someone whining about a cousin's wedding. But what comes out? A guy straight up confessing to a murder. No joke. Full-on details, calm as a Sunday drive. And that tape? It ends up solving a cold case that sat untouched for 49 years. This isn't just some creepy family mystery. This is about a girl who vanished walking home, a killer who thought he'd buried the truth, and one beat-up cassette that went, yeah, nah, we're not done yet. What happened? Let's rewind. It's July 1975, Hagerstown, Maryland, classic small-town summer, porch swings, kids with water balloons, radios blasting Elton John like he's the only musician that ever existed. 17-year-old Roseann Sturtz, sweet girl, big smile, worked nights at a burger joint. She was the kind of person who said hi to you and actually meant it. One night she finishes her shift, clocks out, waves goodbye to the crew, and starts her usual walk home. 10 minutes. She's done it hundreds of times. No big deal. But this time, she never makes it. Next morning, her bed's still made. Her parents start calling around. Friends, co-workers, anyone. No one's seen her. Panic kicks in. People are out shouting her name, combing through wooded trails, checking culverts, drainage ditches, you name it. Then, weeks later, someone spots something strange off a rural road. It's her. She'd been strangled, clothes torn, no fingerprints, no DNA. Though remember, this is the 70s. Forensics back then was basically squint at it harder. Just a brutal quiet end, and then nothing. Radio silence for decades. Detectives had nothing. Zip. Zilch, no murder weapon, no witnesses, no stalker X. They interviewed co-workers, nothing. Friends, nada. Some poor guy got dragged in just for having a mustache and walking weird. Turns out he was the bowling alley janitor. Total red herring. The case? Iced over, like Arctic tundra levels of cold. It sat, years passed, then decades. Every now and then, a cold case unit would crack open the file, poke around, say, huh, and then right back on the shelf. Then in 2023, something wild. A woman in Pennsylvania is cleaning out her dad's old junk. He'd passed away. Typical attic stuff, receipts, photos, VHS tapes, a yo-yo. But then she finds a shoebox. Inside, a cassette, labeled, old. She pops it in, and what she hears, a man. Sounds like maybe he's been drinking.
Charlie, we could ask you questions all day, but it's no use to beat around the bush and for us trying to ask you questions and you trying to do this and do that. I think if you know anything about the case, if you're involved in that case, I'd like for you to tell me about it. Tell me what you know.
I have knowledge of the case.
Okay.
Talking to someone, just rambling, and then confessing to a murder from the 70s in Hagerstown. He says her name, Roseann. The woman, rightfully freaking out, calls the cops. Detectives nearly fall out of their chairs when they hear the tape. It's like finding the last piece of a jigsaw puzzle you forgot you were working on. Turns out, the guy on the tape, Walter E. Harper. Her dad, no record, never a suspect, just some quiet guy with a secret. He lived, get this, 1 block from Roseann's route home in 1975. They run voice prints. They compare tape details with autopsy reports, stuff that was never made public, and then they go nuclear. DNA tests on the old evidence, boom. Walter's DNA, right there, after 49 years. Now here's the gut punch. By the time they figure all this out, Walter Harper's dead. He passed away in 2019, peacefully, in his sleep. Full funeral, choir and everything. No trial, no prison, no confrontation. Just gone. But that tape, it cracked the case wide open.
Good morning. We're so glad that you all are able to be with us on this beautiful day. It's not often that we get to announce really great news, and today we are doing just that with the case closure of a 50-year-old cold case homicide. So we're going to tell you a little bit about the case itself. We're going to tell you how it was closed, and then we will take a few questions at the end. So first, I'm going to turn it over to our Chief of Police, Greg Durr.
How's everybody doing today? Today, I am pleased to be joined by County Executive Calvin Ball, State's Attorney Rich Gibson, and our cold case detective, Corporal Wade Zufall, to announce that we have closed the 1975 homicide of 20-year-old Roseann Sturtz, who went by Ann. Before I get into the details of the case, I am grateful that we were able to share this news with Ann's family. They are a strong group of people, and like any close family, they still grieve her senseless death. She was loved and continues to be loved. It's my hope that this brings them some closure after suffering for nearly 50 years. When Corporal Zufall assumed the responsibility for this case in 2022, there wasn't much to go on. In fact, this is our second oldest cold case. There was no DNA to test, no witness to her death, and little physical evidence. But that did not deter him. He sifted through all boxes and files that may have contained evidence or documents from the case. And what he found led us to where we are today. There was a letter from the Howard County State's Attorney in 1981 giving full immunity from prosecution to a man named Charles William Davis, Jr., who was already incarcerated on a life sentence for a series of other murders. That letter led to the discovery of a cassette tape of an interview detectives conducted with Davis in 1981. In that interview, Davis was unable to positively identify Ann from her photo as one of his victims. And the case went cold for nearly 44 years. So over this course of the last year, Corporal Zufall corresponded with Charles Davis in prison and eventually brought him in for an interview. Davis was shown a different photo of Ann, and this time he recognized her and confessed to her murder.
Okay. This is a picture of the girl that we found. Have you ever seen this girl before?
So they're trying to show you a photo of her, okay? They don't have any mugshots. They show you an older photo, okay, of her. So she had a mugshot from less than a month. They never showed you that, okay? Is it okay if I show you her photo now? Okay. That's her, isn't it, Charlie? She still had the scar on her face.
When Charles William Davis Jr. pointed out, the picture of Roseann Sturtz, it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling to know that not only that the hard work of the detectives and the police officers before you helped push this case forward, but also that you're right there at that point where you're going to be able to continue to work this case in a positive manner, and at some point be able to speak to the family and actually give them firsthand information on what happened, to their loved one.
This was going to happen, Charlie, and this is as honest as I can be. I'm going to take you back take you back home, take you to home, okay? Take you back home. I'm going to come in tomorrow. I'm going to write this case up, and I'm going to close it. And that's going to be the end of the case.
At a press conference, cops announced the findings. Roseann's family, some now elderly, wept. They finally had closure. Turns out Harper saw her walking He followed her, tried something. She resisted. He panicked. And in seconds, it was over. He kept it buried for decades until, for whatever reason, he hit record one night and just spilled. So where do we go from here? Roseann's case officially closed. Her family added the words "justice served" to her gravestone. People in Hagerstown started locking their doors a little more. Even in sleepy towns, monsters can blend in. And the woman who found the tape, she was devastated. Said she never imagined her dad was capable of something like that. But, and this is heavy, she also said maybe, just maybe, he wanted to be caught, that maybe leaving the tape was his way of making it right. And that cassette, it's in an evidence box now, on display at the local PD, a little plastic rectangle that held a secret for nearly half a century. So what do you think? Did Walter want to be found? Or was it just some creepy cosmic accident? Either way, it's proof. Justice doesn't always come quickly, but it can still come. If you like this story, oh man, wait till you hear the one I've got next. A missing camper, some scorched journals, and yeah, a guy in a bear costume. I wish I was making that up. Smash that subscribe, drop your theory in the comments, and check out the next story.